I want everyone to sing along. You ain't seen nothing yet.
Let's thank the choir. Made me think like I'm a young man again. Today my title is, it could be You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet, but that's not the title. The title is this morning is You My Dog. And our spiritual principle says that every situation presents the possibility that we will wake up to our true nature and choose life-affirming activity. Principle is not bound by precedent. You ain't seen nothing yet. Choose life-affirming activity. You can just choose it today, even if that's not what you practiced yesterday. Our past does not create or limit our future. If we change our thinking, it changes our life. Tattoos are often seen as permanent, marks on our bodies, reflecting the beliefs and the ideas and the experiences and each one of our identities if you have them. But have you ever considered that whether or not you have a tattoo on your skin, that you do have a tattoo on your heart? And just as tattoos are on our skin can tell us a story, so can the tattoos that are on our heart. It does reveal our true character, what is written upon our hearts. Is what is written on your heart love and compassion, or it's fear and being afraid and bitterness and hatred because of what we have experienced? Gregory Boyd tells the story of being invited by the First Lady, Laura Bush, to speak at the Helping Hands American Youth Conference at Howard University, a historic black university in Washington, D.C. And afterwards, they were invited to the White House for dinner. So the First Lady's assistant, after she invited him, said, "And please bring 3 of your homies with you." That's how the story is. We don't know if that's true or not, but you never know. Maybe she knew what a homie was. He writes, "Crooks have resided in the White House before, but it might be the first time that gang members have stepped into the place." So he takes 3 homies with him. Each one of them is large and tattooed at every visible place, on arms and hands, neck and face. And they look like they were scary, and all of them had served time. They looked like people that would cause harm. That's how the story goes. But what do you see when you see a person that doesn't look the way you would reveal and look yourself? Do you judge that individual? Do you judge a book by its cover? How do you look? What is written on your heart will tell you how you are going to view that person. Are you going to view them based on the experience that you have with them, or are you just going to predetermine exactly what this experience will be? So recently, I spoke about Mitch Albom's book, Have a Little Faith, about Mitch's experience of being in a homeless shelter in Detroit. And at the close of the service, as I was leaving, a woman was leaving, and she handed me a book. And the book said, Hungry for Peace, Food, Not Bombs. But that's not the important part. When I opened up the book, there was a message that said, Please read Tattoos on the Heart by Father Gregory Boyd, the founder of Homeboy Industries. There is a point to the shirt. I don't think I'm 25. There's a point to the shirt. I may be 125, but not 25. 26, you know. Yeah. I won't say who it was because not everybody likes to be exposed, but I really do try to follow up if people make recommendations for me. Some of them, most of the time, they're actually quite good. And this one was amazing. So last Sunday afternoon, because no matter what goes on here, no matter how good of a time I have, no matter what, when I stand at that door, I have got to plan what is coming the next week, okay? Because by Tuesday morning, I have to describe it to Rosie. So I ain't got time to worry about what I'm going to talk about. People talk about, well, no, I don't write my sermon until Saturday night. That is just not possible because I have to have it done by Tuesday. So I read the book, Tattoos on the Heart, The Power of Boundless Compassion by Father Gregory Boyd. And let me tell you, I was absolutely captivated. I could not put it down. In fact, I finished the book Sunday afternoon when I like to have my nap. I couldn't put it down. Sometimes as I read the story and listened to the story, because I have a tendency to listen and read at the same time, when I listened to the story, there were sometimes I cried, and there are times when I laughed. And then there were times that I laughed and cried at the same time. Have you ever been there? When there's just joy in your soul, and at the same time you're crying and you're laughing, and you look crazy. But I was at home. I can look crazy at home. I cry up here anyway. So in the church of my youth, St. James, if one of the mothers felt the Spirit, if she felt touched by the Spirit, she would say, glory. And the hand is necessary. You can't say glory without the hand. So say it with me, glory. You gotta have the hand, glory. All I can say is that when this would happen, the Spirit would be really high and every open heart and every open soul would be touched by this experience. You could watch it just ripple through the room. And that is the only thing I can describe to you that I experienced while reading this book. It was nothing but glory. Now, glory is this, it's called the doxa. It is the heaviness of God. And what that means is you actually feel that it exists. And if you feel it, there is no doubt, no matter what happens, you'll never doubt. And if you have never felt it, I pray that you do, because it'll carry you through when nothing else does. It's called the glory. It is the best description that I can tell you about reading this book. I even was so excited, I read the second book as well. So as Father Boyd, which is called affectionately G-Dog, which, by the way, you know, I have to honestly say, I didn't really know when you said you my dog. I really didn't know what that meant. You know, and my musicians talk like that, and I just know they're young, and I act like I know, I just smile. But I really didn't know. And the thing is, what's so informative about the book is, you know, a dog is something that you can trust. The dog always has your back. And that is what they're talking about. For someone to be my dog, it means that you have my back. Have you ever been referred to as my dog? So G-Dog founded Homeboy Industries in LA, right in the middle of the gang capital of the world. And this program aims to intervene into gang activities. No easy task, right? And provide opportunities for redemption and growth, tattoo removal, and jobs. That's the thing, and jobs. Where do you go to work when every exposed area of your body is covered with scary tattoos? Where do you go to work? If you come to interview with me, I don't think that you would ever get past human resources to my office, to be quite honest with you. I mean, that's just the truth. You can do it if you want to. I'm just telling you, people will kind of screen you out. But where do you go when this has been your experience and all you're thinking is you ain't seen nothing yet? That anything that has been in my past does not set a precedent about my future. It's the decision that I make today because every situation presents the possibility that I will wake up to my true nature. And once I wake up to my true nature, I recognize that I can just change my behavior and that nothing but principle will sustain me in the rest of my life. Everything else is a precedent, and it does not have to stay the same. It is possible for a gang member, and it is possible for each one of us to wake up to a new day at any given time. Because really, the best is yet to come. So let's talk about intentional manifestation. You know, we believe in a reciprocal universe, that what you do comes back, and it comes back with interest. The economy that the world has created comes out of principle, that when you put money away, you technically, most of the time, get interest and you get more back. So intentional manifestation. At Homeboy Industries, thousands of rival gang members, men and women, work in 9 enterprises in the city to move themselves from being a part of a gang to a job. They are called the Homeboy Bakery, the Homeboy Silk Screen and Embroidery, Homeboy Homegirl Merchandising, Homeboy Diner, the only place that you can buy food in the city hall, Homeboy Cafe at LAX, Homeboy Farmers Market, Homeboy Grocery, a line of food products that are made, and Homeboy Recycling and Homegirl Cafe and Catering. When you saw the tattoos on the face, did you realize that you hadn't seen nothing yet? These people have created each one of these industries, and there are 250 affiliates in the world, including one in Sacramento. Their motto is jobs, not jail. Amen. So the principle is not bound by precedent. So G-Dog was sent to a Bolivian village, and when he came back, two things he said he knew is, number one, that he wanted to work with the poor, and the second thing is that he could speak Spanish. Didn't know why he was going to learn to speak Spanish, but if you live down there and nobody's talking to you in English, you're going to have to learn how to speak Spanish. I don't think I still would learn. But so he goes and he comes back, and so he asks his bishop, please place me with poor people. And so they put him in LA, and the parish is between 2 housing projects. And there are 8 gangs in those 2 housing projects. So he goes out and he interviews the gang members. And he asks them, what is most important to you? What do you think the answer was? The answer was a job. A job. See, we can't get away from it. We have our own, and I kind of set you up. What do you think, right? They said they just wanted a job, but where do you go when you don't look like everybody else? Okay? But here was vision, that this man started creating bridges between gangs by having them work together in the same place. He said, though, he tells this story, he says, the interesting thing is that in a male gang, he's a priest, if he walked up, they would just stop fighting. He said, not the women. He said, if I was going to break up a woman's fight, I better take some backup because they wasn't going to stop. Now, maybe, I learned from the book. But what is the transformative thing in your life? What moves you from fear to faith? What moves you from seeing life as you ain't seen nothing yet? Yes, that happened to me yesterday, and yes, I did it, and there's video, and I wish I hadn't had the video, but that doesn't determine my future, even though everyone else may judge you for it. But it has to be within us to say, no, you ain't seen nothing yet. Because at any given point in time, you can just change your mind. So right in the middle of all kinds of marginalization and all kinds of the things that can happen, Homeboy Industries is created. And I was so excited, I had to have the outfit. By the way, I always have to have the outfit. When somebody invites me to do something, my first thought is, what am I gonna wear? I'm shallow, what can I say? He writes, Homeboy Industries seeks to be a community of unconditional love. Sounds like faith community to me. The community will always trump the gang. The community will always trump the gang. He says, true compassion lies not only in helping outcasts and the downtrodden, but in seeing ourselves as their sisters and brothers. One people. All of us in together, even the people we don't like. So he first opened an alternative school. Why? Because they were gangbanging during the school day. Because the teachers couldn't manage the kids. I don't think I could. I read this book, and I would tell you the truth, I realized I don't know nothing about the hood, okay? Nothing. I had to read the definitions in the back most of the time to understand what they were talking about. So he opened an alternative school. What he did was he went to the nuns and asked them to move out of the convent and start a school. And they said there was no debate. They were glad to do it. And that is how they started the first thing. They started an alternative school, a place to create hope and possibility. If we aren't the people that always are bringing hope and possibility, let me tell you, the world may not have it. You are the light of the world in the world in which you live. It's a lot of responsibility. So they move out. And these former gang members get together, and he starts a construction company with the gangbangers. So they have to promise that they have to submit to testing, and he can't bang anymore, and all the kind of rules that are associated with it. He said, but the first thing that he started after construction company was a plumbing business. But he realized that people didn't really want ex-cons and ex-gang members in their houses. But he didn't give up. He just adjusted. And there are 9 businesses now. A movie producer approached him and said, I really want to do something good with my money. He said, okay, fine. Buy that bakery across the street, and it'll be Homeboy Bakery. That's how they got the first bakery, just simply because somebody wanted to do something and caught the vision. So Mike Wallace, the commentator on 60 Minutes, was doing a story about this ministry, of course. And so he shows up, the story goes in the book that he shows up in a limousine and a flak jacket. A bulletproof vest, in other words, right? That's how he shows up. And he says, I expected to meet monsters, but that's not what I met at all. And so he asked one of the young men that was there, he said, why do you think that Father doesn't turn you into the police? And the little kid just says, God, I guess. If our answer could only be, God, I guess. I just do good because God, I guess. What a ministry to have. So Homeboy Industries, 30 years, 250 branches throughout the world, just on a vision of finding a place for ex-gang members to work. Why have we not done that? What has the Spirit been speaking to us and we have not done? And if we haven't done it, at least we can support those that have. Because there is opportunity that presents itself, and right in the middle of the most terrible set of circumstances, hope can be there. Simply because you recognize that the best is yet to come. He says Homeboy Industries is not about people that need help. It's about people who want help. He says we are a gang rehabilitation center. What if you were to invest in gangs and employ them rather than trying to incarcerate ourselves out of a problem? We all have to admit the reason why is that we are afraid. We are afraid. We feel safer if someone is behind bars. All of us feel that way. But the best is yet to come. All you have to do is open up to the opportunity. This has happened for 30 years in LA, right down the street in the city of Los Angeles. And right there in the middle of it is this gang rehabilitation program. Jobs, not jail. He writes, here is what I want, for God to be greater than God. The hope is that our sense of God will grow as expansive as God really is. The issue is there's always more. Divine love is incessantly restless until it turns our woundedness into health, our deformity into beauty, and our embarrassment into laughter. Oh my God, it's beautiful stuff. In a world that measures success purely most of the time by money, he quotes Mother Teresa, who says, "We are not called to be successful. We are called to be faithful." The thing about being faithful is you don't wait for something to show up. You use exactly what is in your hand. Right in your hand. Whole story of Moses. Moses says, here's the water. These people are behind me. The Egyptians are coming. God says, use what's in your hand. It's always in your hand. So don't think something has to show up for your best to yet to come. It's already in your hand. We are just called to be faithful to what we have been given. She goes, we have forgotten that we belong to one another. That being faithful always means just using just what you have. So if from the voices in the margin and who have heard this story of compassion, the circle of compassion just continues to get wider and wider. Souls feeling their worth. How would we change the world if we could just let people know that you are already loved? You are already loved. Even when you don't look lovely. And even when you're not doing the right, you're still already loved. Because if God is so sometimey that your behavior controls love, let me tell you, that ain't love. Love is unconditional, and it holds on to you anyway. He says there is no bullet that will replace community and those being engaged. So I ask you this morning, what is tattooed on your heart? Is it fear or is it compassion? Is it a recognition within you that with God all things are possible? Is it possible that you could recognize that what you have right in your hand is your blessing? Your life has been speaking to you your entire life. Every circumstance and situation works together for our good. And all of those experiences bring you to right where you are right now. And where you are right now, faith just says, be faithful. It doesn't take anything else. It doesn't take millions. It just takes being faithful. So I invite you, no condemnation this morning, none whatsoever. I learned a lot from this book. But what is written on your heart? When you see the unlovely and the unlikable, do you see possibility? Do you see it? Do you see that there's possible ability there? That the same gang member can now work in a bakery. They can manufacture and grow their own food. They can have their own grocery store. They have to do it. Who is going to allow them to do it? The best is yet to come. And so it is. Glory. Let us pray. To the God that only sees possibility, that looks at each one of us and says, I love you with an everlasting love. Who looks at us and recognizes that what we have been given, if we are faithful with it, it will return back to us with even more than we have done. And it is for this and for every good and perfect gift that is on its way that I am just giving thanks and praise. I'm thankful for this and for everything that will manifest out of this room today. God is good all the time. With God, all things are possible, and the best is yet to come. And so it is.